Hi everybody, my name is Matt. I am one of the founders and the CTO of Credit Kudos. We are building a new kind of credit score. So I'm going to set the scene a little bit by talking about millennials. So the UK is 25% millennial today. That's the biggest demographic and it's growing. But these guys have a really interesting problem in that pre-financial crisis, 75% of these guys were using credit cards regularly. And today, the opposite is true. It's only 25%. Now, this is a problem because if you're not using credit regularly, you're not building a credit history. And half of these guys need to borrow money within a year for a house or a car or whatever. And the truth is that credit scores are broken. Traditional credit scores are made up of things like history at your current address, whether or not you're on the electoral roll, how often you apply for credit. And for these guys, it's not relevant. How can you have a credit history if you're a first-time borrower? If you're a migrant to the country, you don't have a history at an address. It doesn't exist. And this leads to up to 80% of credit applications being declined. That is a phenomenal number. The truth is that credit bureaus just don't have enough information on hand in order to make the right decision. And when these scores fail, the methods to kind of rescue this business are even worse. So it's a case of, oh, please send me your last 3 months of bank statements on paper. I'll highlight them and decide whether you're a good risk or not. Or I'll spend 45 minutes on the phone with you asking how much you spend on groceries each week. Or even I'll send one of my guys around to your house and decide whether you've mowed the lawn recently or if your car's clean. This is actual practice in this country. And they don't fit with the demands of modern borrowers. The modern borrower wants a mobile, transparent, instantaneous decision to all of their applications, and they're not getting it. Now, at its heart, what a credit score should be is a measure of your financial health and your propensity to repay. And every borrower with an online bank is sitting on a wealth of information directly relevant to this. So the best way to just understand somebody's creditworthiness is just to look at their bank account. This is exactly what we do. We turn your spending behavior into a credit score. It's really quite simple. Our product provides lenders with a really simple integration and an easy decision backed by real data, like cold, hard facts, as in how much are you earning, how are you saving your money, how responsible do you spend, all of these things. And we see this future as a consumer-led process. It's the first global way of interacting with financial services. If you want to move to a different country and interact with a credit card provider, you can do that. I think that is the end. Very good. If you want to chat more, thanks.
Very confident presentation. Any questions? We have one question here. Okay, one there, one there. We're lucky. You look like quite small.
You comparing yourself to conventional credit scores, but obvious comparators are people like Friendly Score and Air that are taking a different approach, which is based on appraising your personality through behaviour rather than appraising your financial behaviour directly. So how do you view those sort of more modern competitors rather than the old kind of Equifaxes and Experience of the world?
I think they're really interesting. I think we've heard a couple of things that these kind of companies provide to lenders. It's kind of a little bit of uplift, but the beauty thing that we have is that we can kind of supplement an application with extra information that lenders also need. So as part of an affordability assessment, if you want to know how much somebody earns, whether you've answered a psychometric quiz isn't going to answer that. And all the data that we collect can kind of model your financial behavior, not a kind of proxy for it. We are kind of looking at the stuff underneath, if that makes sense.
Matt, thanks for your presentation. Good.
My pleasure.
Good talk.
Thank you.
Well, I was just wondering, are you looking at one bank account or all bank accounts of a person?
As many as they have. They can connect as many bank accounts as they have to us. We will then aggregate, analyze, cross accounts, and provide a single kind of unified picture to a lender, yeah.
That's a lot of work, right?
You could say that, yeah.
Because I'm like having 14 different bank accounts.
Well, we like to make the experience as seamless as possible. Obviously, in a kind of bank API-driven world, that might be more beautiful than it is today. So we do the best with what we've got in that respect.
Okay. Thanks.
No props.
What if they have a bank account where they really behave themselves, and all the other ones they go crazy on?
It is a great question. I get it a lot. Yeah.
Like those drive telematics apps that measure how well you drive.
That's kind of what
the
we
joke
want
is.
to be.
The joke
yeah.
is you put it in your granny's car.
I like that. I
and
like
then you
that.
get cheap insurance because
Yeah.
she drives like an old lady.
Yeah, sure.
So this is a really. I think this is. Sorry, I'm interpreting this question. It's a really good question.
Yeah.
So what do you do if they give you the good account?
Yeah,
And
sure.
the crazy accounts you don't get to see?
So there's a couple of things that we put in place. So if somebody has what we would call like an inactive account, like there's not enough activity in there for it to be considered a regular current account, then we'll say, hey, we don't have enough data here. Please connect to another account or something like that. Similarly, if we can see a bunch of transfers going out of an account into another account, we'll say, it looks like you're moving money between two of your accounts. Do you want to connect them both? Because it will help your application. That's the point.
Good evening, John Higgins.
Hi, John.
You mentioned that you wanted to be consumer-driven.
Yes,
but
that's
I guess you need to get the institutions on board and the lenders on board.
That's true.
So I guess just understanding where you are in the process, what
Yeah.
sort of response you've got, and have you actually, is this live at the moment?
Sure. So we have a version live at the moment. It's our first kind of product into the market. The reason we're going the way that we are, so to be clear, we sell to lenders and consumers go through the process at no charge. The product basically helps lenders with affordability calculations. So instead of reading over bank statements on paper or via email, you can kind of just ask the customer to share data from their bank for, in a kind of controlled way. And you can then make a decision kind of digitally or automatically or whatever. And over time, we're going to build this into kind of a consumer's account such that they can passport that kind of information around. So if I'm going to move country, I'm going to interact with different providers, then I can share the information in kind of a single sign-on type way. I can just log into a lender with my Credit Kudos account and you're good to go, if that makes sense.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
That was fun.